does, and on this jam-packed day of college basketball, we bring you to Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville. The Tennessee Volunteers facing one of the hottest teams in the nation, the Louisville Cardinals. They've won 12 straight to climb to number 14 in the polls. Dave O'Brien, my partner Jay Billis, and the two stars we'll watch closely are Louisville's Reese Gaines. Coach Rick Pitino cannot say enough about his senior, who may be the Conference USA's Player of the Year. Tennessee counters with 6'8" Ron Slay, leading the SEC in scoring at 21.6 points per game. And Jay, when they met last December of 2001, Louisville pulled off one of the great comebacks all season long in college hoops.
And Reese Gaines was the guy that was behind it, hitting a couple threes as the game ended, including the game winner. And this Louisville team is going to press for 40 minutes. They play defense all over 94 feet of the court. It's going to be important for Tennessee not only to take care of the ball, but to try to make Louisville play some half-court defense, get their own tempo.
A couple of terrific stars who probably don't get enough national attention. Certainly if you talk to Ron Slay, who's averaging almost 22 a game, he believes that's the case. So it might be a coming out party for him, but Louisville has the ball first. Garcia shoots, the freshman, a little long, but Stone runs it down. He's the former Kentucky Wildcat center. Picked up by Rick Pitino, the former Kentucky coach. Dean into the lane, had it stripped. And they fight for it. And the possession arrow will send it in the other direction. A look at the starting lineups. We talk about Rick Pitino grabbing that center, Marvin Stone. I mean, one thing about Rick, he's not afraid to cause a brouhaha about anything.
In Tennessee, one of the players to watch, number 32, C.J. Watson. Freshman point guard. It's going to be important for him to take care of the ball, distribute it, and make sure he can find a tempo that Tennessee likes to play on. More of a half-court game instead of a full-court game. Take what's there, but make Louisville guard in the half-court.
Holden giving off for Watson. Straight away, Crump. Can't get it. A scramble for Tennessee will keep it alive. And right away, Higgins will shoot. He's dangerous from three-point territory, but he misses on the first one.
The Tennessee guards have been shooting the three extremely well, especially over the last 5 games. Their three best shooters shooting about 55% from three over that period.
Gaines off balance. A fadeaway may have forced it a little. And both sides looking for their first points. A back shot up and in by Thaddeus Holden. He took the foul and he will go to the line.
That is called being opportunistic in transition. Tennessee trying to beat Louisville down the court after the missed shot, and Thaddeus Holden taking it right to a very good defender just to draw the contact and draw the foul. He wound up making the basket in addition.
Rick Pitino, his second year at Louisville. He rebuilt the Kentucky program from the ashes to an NCAA championship, and he's bringing Louisville, the school that has made 7 Final Four trips, back to being a national power again. And they are 13-1.
And a great basketball coach. Really full court pressure right now after the free throw by Tennessee. Trapping on the initial inbounds play.
Pitino has really had Tennessee's number. He's beaten them 15 out of 18 times. Was stuffed back in by Stone as he collected the miss.
Just a great offensive rebound, and Marvin Stone has really played aggressively since suiting up for Rick Pitino. Last year at Kentucky, before the Christmas break, he was not rebounding at near the pace he is now, and the reason is aggressiveness. He's got much more confidence now than he did last year.
So Tennessee with a 1-point lead. Higgins gets it out to Slay. His first shot right on the money for 3.
Louisville's got to do a better job on those ball screens when they're set by Ron Slay. You don't want to go with the dribbler. You want to stay with Slay, at least one guy, because he's a good three-point shooter. And when he hits threes, Tennessee much more difficult to beat.
Slay coming off a 29-point effort against the Georgia Bulldogs. And how about a little offense by accident off the hands of Stone? He didn't even make a clean catch.
A good pass by Ellis Miles. Got to get more pressure on that passer. Ellis Miles can pass the ball in addition to his great rebounding strength.
Get it into Crump. He's 6'10", 235. That hook shot in and out. A good-looking shot, but it wouldn't fall for him.
Crump went to Pete Newell's big man camp this last summer. Really worked on his game, got a lot stronger. more capable down low.
Is Pete still holding that camp in Hawaii?
He has been. He's going to do it in Vegas this summer, and there aren't going to be as many NBA players. There won't be NBA players this year.
Garcia banks it in. Not a bad trip, though, for a young man. If you're going to go in a gym someplace and sweat, go to Hawaii and do it.
That's exactly right, and especially with the teaching you get at that camp. It's extraordinary. Good pass.
Watson. Tip controlled by Louisville.
So that was one to pull back out, and that's a freshman mistake.
Dean, the freshman. A little too long and a foul. They're going to get stoned for it. He was pushing in the paint. 16:24 to play in the first half.
And Rick Pitino not happy with that foul call as you take a look at Buzz Peterson, who did a tremendous job at Appalachian State. His 1 year at Tulsa, won a title, and now trying to bring this Tennessee program back up near the top of the Southeastern Conference.
Buzz, a member of North Carolina's 1982 national championship team.
And a terrific shooter, especially coming out of high school. His reputation was of a knockdown jump shooter from the perimeter. Player of the year in the state of North Carolina his senior year. You know who he beat out for that?
Who did he beat out?
Some guy named Michael Jordan.
Who later was his roommate in college. Is that true?
That's right, his roommate, and they played a fair amount of golf together, and now Buzz continues to steal his shoes. They wear the same size, so raids his closet every time he's in Chicago.
He introduced Michael to golf, did he not?
He did.
Tennessee will turn it over. Tied at 6, just getting started here in Knoxville, Tennessee. The gateway to the Smoky Mountains. Jay Billis, Dave O'Brien with you. A Stone on a high post, gets it off to Gaines, and the star will fire it up. Wait, he is not bashful about shooting it from anywhere on the floor.
Yeah, not the best shot. Reese Gaines, one of the best two guards in the country. I have thought that it's been Kirk Heinrich as the best two guard in the country, but Reese Gaines is right up there because he can defend, he can shoot, he can take the ball to the basket. Has a complete game. Really puts a lot of pressure on the ball, got long arms. I really like him defensively.
Trump had a pretty good look, did not shoot it. Jump pass underneath, and Crump was open there. Nicely done by the Volunteers, moving the ball around.
And a good job by Crump to look back. Most of the time when you see somebody go up, you're looking for rebound rather than pass.
Andres Wilborn with a nice pass to him to get the Volunteers in front. Dean shoots it. And again, he is a little chilly early on.
With the exception of Stone's offensive rebound and dunk, it's been 1 and out for Louisville.
Louisville 3 out of 9. Tennessee 3 out of 7.
It's been Tennessee's tempo, at least thus far. It's really early in the game, but it has been more of a half-court affair, and that's exactly what Tennessee wants. They don't want to run up and down with Louisville.
Watson controlling, up against Dean. Shot clock down to 7. Feet on the baseline. They get it back out for Higgins, who drains the 3. John Higgins.
John Higgins is an outstanding shooter, also a very good defender, but over his last 5, he shot 61% from 3. That's good when you're unguarded, let alone in games.
Stone showing off his athleticism.
How about that move? Great pivot. He's got terrific hands, Marvin Stone. When he catches it, he keeps it.
And you know what? He has a terrific shooting percentage over his last 3 games. 74% shooting from down and in like that. Hook shot is up and good by Brandon Crump. So he and Stone are going at it.
Crump has been very aggressive. Louisville wants to go after Ron Slay when he gets the ball down low. Double team. They're not going to do the same thing with Brandon Crump.
Stone thought about a lob that time to John Winchester. Now he turns and fires, and it's tipped out of bounds by Tennessee. So 13:34 to play here in the first half. And so far, Buzz Peterson likes what he has seen, but the last time they met, he did not. It was a great comeback and heartbreak for Tennessee as Louisville won it at Freedom Hall.
Brought to you by The Neighborhood, built by MCI.
Tennessee on the home hardwood today here at Thompson Bowling Arena, and they have a lead, and that's because they're shooting the basketball pretty effectively, Jay, in the early going, 56%. That may not last, though, against Louisville.
Well, Louisville's a very good defensive team. They really get after you for 94 feet, and they've had an amazing stat over the last 10 games. They've held all 10 opponents that they've played under 40% shooting. I can't remember a team that's done that against good competition, and that's exactly what this team does.
Well, the last time they met, we talked about it was December of 2001 at Freedom Hall.
A three could tie it. Brian Northern. How fast was that? 25 seconds to go. Slade turning, dishing. Easler knocks it down. 5 seconds. Gaines. This for a three. Oh! Yeah! How about that one, baby?
With 1.8 seconds left, he nailed it 73-72. A heartbreaking loss for Tennessee. And did that put them in this tailspin?
Well, they lost a lot of close games, and I think it was really difficult for them to come back from it. They fought all year long, but losing that many close games and then having Marcus Haslick leave early, they thought that they're in a little bit of a hole coming into this season, but they've really fought hard, and Ron Slay's been a tremendous leader, averaging over 21 points per game, and with his emotion and the fact that he got all of the players to stay here over the summer and play pickup games together and work on their games, I think has put Tennessee in a pretty good position to be one of the sleeper teams in the Southeastern Conference.
Stone to go to the line. Right now the Volunteers 2-3 in the SEC's Eastern Division, which Florida leads. They're 5-0. Kentucky right behind them at 4-0. And then you have Georgia at 3-1. That's a brutal division.
It is brutal. And Tennessee's 3 losses in conference have been to pretty good teams. They've lost to Kentucky, they've lost at Florida, and they've lost at Georgia. And their game at Georgia went into overtime. Here comes the pressure. When you turn your back, you can expect a trap. You never know where it's coming. You want to get the ball in the middle of the floor.
Stribling has it. On a very high post. They'll work from that offensive set.
Here comes an on-ball screen.
Holding off this. He goes airborne, and it rolls in for him with the foul.
Well, he has really been strong taking the ball to the basket.
Well, tonight at 8 Eastern, the college basketball action concludes on ESPN with a huge SEC matchup. Keith Bogans in Kentucky visit Irwin Dudley and the Alabama Crimson Tide, who have been scuffling as of late. That's tonight at 8. A great matchup, 10 against 13. They're going to wave off that basket. So Holden does not get credit for 2. And all of a sudden, bodies flying everywhere as Brown went down hard. And they're going to give Ron Slay his first foul on that play, knocking Brown to the floor.
Can't get the ball get in there and make that play. That is way too easy.
Basket by Ellis Miles, his first 2 today.
There are not many rebounders pound for pound better than Ellis Miles in the country. Had 23 boards in one game last year.
Chased out of bounds. It'll be Louisville basketball.
That is not the shot that Buzz Peterson wants. He wants Louisville to have to guard in the half court. And used a game that they had against Florida as an example to his team today. And the first half against Florida, another team that likes to get up and down the floor. Tennessee took 27 shots, 13 of them threes. That's too many threes. They need to be a little more patient, get that ball inside, get some inside-outside interaction.
Slay has just 3 points. And it's going to be called an offensive foul on Miles. Ellis Miles hit with it.
Yeah, the first bump you can get away with, but when you bump again and try to dislodge that defender, that call is going to be made almost every time in college basketball.
Gaines has yet to score for Louisville. So the 2 will be to follow in Star Watch. A little bit cold early.
One of the things this Louisville press wants you to do is speed up, to go faster, make plays on the run. And oftentimes when you're on the run, you will take some bad shots that plays right into the hands of Louisville's defense.
Slay with a bad pass. He got up in the air, and now here's Gaines all by himself.
Well, what a nice pass. O'Bannon did a very good job there in transition.
Louisville ties it. Holding off the fake.
Kick it back out and start again. Kick it back out and start again. That's what I'm talking about, going too fast.
Dribbling. Decided not to dribble it, and he walked with it. And now Rick Pitino and Louisville can take the lead here inside Thompson Bowling Arena. They tied it on this jam by the Superstar Games. Auburn coming back to earth a little bit. 2 consecutive conference losses.
And this conference can bring you down to earth in a hurry because it's a difficult game every game. I think it's the best conference in the country top to bottom, and certainly the most national title contenders, or at least Final Four quality teams.
Tennessee overall 9-5. As mentioned, 2-3 in the conference. They're coming off a tough overtime loss to Georgia over in Athens on Wednesday, 81-76.
2-3 zone here, matching up out of it.
Gaines into the paint, got him off to Miles. Gets his man airborne, but can't bank it in. And here's Slay with a rebound. Tennessee looking to push the tempo a little bit. Stribling got up in the air and was fouled. 11:09 left in the half.
Tennessee's done a nice job of advancing the ball after a missed shot. Trying to be opportunistic. What you want to be careful of is if you do get opportunities in transition, you're selecting. Take the open shots, but also be selective and bring it back out and make Louisville guard you in the half court. One thing that Buzz Peterson said today at the shoot-around was we have to find our tempo. We don't want to let Louisville dictate the tempo to us. And Louisville can do that. What they'll do is get you moving faster. All of a sudden, you're getting deeper into your bench, and that's what aids the Cardinals because they feel 1 through 11, they're better than you. They may not be better than you 1 through 5, but 1 through 11, they feel they are.
Rick Pitino gets Marvin Stone and the freshman Tyquan Dean back into the ball game here.
Here comes a little trap, long way for Ron Slay to come.
Down from the corner, he was wide open, but there was a foul in the lane. Well, tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Andre Agassi seeks his 4th Australian Open title. The man standing in his way, a 26-year-old German, Rainer Schüttler. The Australian Open men's final live on ESPN.
And that's a big one for Agassi. I have been told that if he wins that, his wife, Steffi Graf, will play mixed doubles with him.
No kidding.
How about that?
Incentive enough. That would be at the French Open. Jump ball, and they'll keep it on this end. 10:44 left in half number 1. Rick Pitino. His team has won 12 in a row. You talked about this before the game. It's fascinating that during practices, because Rick has had problems with his voice the last several winters, he wears a lavalier mic, doesn't he?
So his voice can come down over the loudspeakers in the gym, and it allows him to be a little bit more gentle with his voice. And he coaches so much, that's part of the problem for him and his voice. He spends all 4 hours of individual work with his players. A lot of head coaches do not do that. They leave that to their assistants, but Rick Pitino takes a very active role in teaching and in taking care of those individual workouts. And what a fabulous coach.
Timeout, Tennessee, so they can avoid the turnover. And Buzz Peterson burns one here. Up by 2 against a red-hot Louisville Cardinal team.
And coaches hate to burn those timeouts on inbound plays.
Well, folks, you can start your Super Bowl Sunday morning tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Join Stuart Scott and the team of Tom Jackson, Sterling Sharp, and Chris Mortensen as they prepare you for the Super Bowl with 3 hours of coverage. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Have you revealed your choice? Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I'm a Gruden guy. I picked Tampa Bay, which of course is meaningless. I know very little about football. I'm just a fan, but I really enjoy watching it, and I've enjoyed watching the Buccaneers. Their defense is great, and I'm a defense guy, so I'm going to go with the defensive team rather than the team that could put points on the board.
Gruden is the Rick Pitino of NFL coaches.
That's right.
He is into every facet of everything,
and gets very little sleep. I think Rick sleeps just a tad more than he does.
Tennessee with the ball. Crump out high.
Got to get it to Slay. He's open. It was open.
Crump wants to shoot it.
Marvin Stone playing so far off of Crump invited him to take that shot, but he's got to look immediately down into Slay because Slay was open momentarily. Got to get back to Slay there.
Buzz Peterson played with, as mentioned, Michael Jordan. And as Jay pointed out, they roomed together. He also played with James Worthy and Sam Perkins and Kenny Smith. This is a guy who is
and Brad Daugherty. He played with some great players. I played against all those teams. Those were great teams to play on. A bad play by Higgins.
So here comes Eric Brown for the easy lay-in for the Cardinals.
And a heck of a play by Eric Brown to take that away and control it. Here comes the pressure.
Brown, another Louisville senior. He ties up the game. Shot won't go, but a foul as On a pretty nifty drive, they were about to drop one in on the hands of C.J. Watson.
When you go against pressure defense, the first thing you have to do is be in control, and you cannot leave your feet to pass. John Higgins tried to pass really across his body, jumping backwards, and Eric Brown made him pay for it with terrific defense. Eric Brown was under control, Higgins was not, and Brown got the 2 points as a result.
Tennessee has now turned it over 5 times, and Louisville taking very good care of the basketball. The freshman C.J. Watson does a very good job, especially given the fact his first year in the SEC, distributing the ball. Very good passer at 5.5 assists a game.
And you know, Dave, this Louisville press is a lot like body punches in boxing. They may not get you right away, but it will catch up with you ultimately, and those turnovers can come in bunches.
So far, Reese Gaines a quiet 2 points. He's averaging over 18 a ball game. He draws a couple of bodies every time he touches it.
2-3 set. That was kind of a Princeton look. Scissor cut off the top and dribble handoff options, ball screen.
Higgins with a hand check foul. So John Higgins picks up number 1 for him.
The more I watch this Louisville team, the better I like them. This is a really good basketball team. Has a chance to get even better.
Defensively, they have been sensational, but most people don't rave about defense. Dean in and out for him. He can't get anything to go.
And Taekwon Dean is a very good shooter, especially of the standstill variety. You really need to make him put it on the floor to take away some of his effectiveness or limit it.
A heralded freshman out of Neptune, New Jersey. And he plays a lot for Rick Pitino. Slay open.
See, Marvin Stone's got to get up there on that shot and make him put it on the floor. There is no way you can let somebody like Ron Slay, who I think is kind of a baby Charles Barkley, you can't let him have that shot, because once he gets going, he'll put points up in a hurry. Had 29 the other night on Georgia, had 38 on New Mexico. He can score.
Hey, he had an added incentive going up against Jim Herrick and the Georgia Bulldogs. The spin by Miles, swatted out of bounds. The foul occurred before that. 8:20 left in the first half. I know Jim Herrick was in the studio with you and with Reese Davis. And you guys were talking about the top players in the Southeastern Conference, and I think it was probably just an oversight by the coach of the Georgia Bulldogs, but he did not name Slay as one of those top 5 players. That got under his skin, didn't it?
Well, Ron Slay is not only a fan of the game, he's got a fair-sized ego. He knows he's good. And when Jim Herrick did not name him as one of the 5, he immediately called one of the assistant coaches for Tennessee in his hotel room and said, I've got all the motivation I need for the rest of the season.
21.6 points and going up. He hung 29 on Herrick the other night, and after the game, Jim Herrick said, I think he's the best player in the Southeastern Conference.
Should have said it before. He might have gotten off easier.
Maybe. The floater. Oh, how about the jam, however, by Elgrace Wilburn, a big-time leaper.
See, this Tennessee team has a lot of great athletes. They've got 5 guys with vertical leaps of 38 or better.
Brown with a traveling violation, and all of a sudden this building is on fire because of that jam by Wilburn. That lit everybody up.
Anytime a shot goes up, you have to turn and find someone, and Louisville did not do that. Take a look at this shot go up, and that's an easy run in, and it wasn't just Wilburn that was there.
A foul against Louisville before the ball was even inbounded. That will go against Dean. Taekwon Dean, the freshman, he got tangled up and committed a foul. Now, one thing about Louisville, they know how to come from behind and win games. They've been down. They've been some huge deficits this season. They have recovered to win and win games very easily by outplaying their opponent in the second half. Watson at the line.
Well, they've shown great poise, and right now Rick Pitino talking to his team and Taekwon Dean specifically about that poise, that Dean felt like he got hit first, and Rick Pitino was telling him it doesn't matter whether you got hit first. You have to show more poise than that, and you can't retaliate in front of an official. They always catch the second guy is one of the lines you hear often in basketball.
So Dean will come out, and Larry O'Bannon, a sophomore, will get into the ball game for Pitino. And his Louisville Cardinals are down 22-16. Gaines was fouled. Buzz Peterson certainly didn't like that foul at all. And he let C.J. Watson know that that was a no-no. 7:55 to play in the half, and Tennessee looking good.
The Kia Spectra.
The half.
Well, a possible upset there, and also the case here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And they're playing a little rocky top here. Let's go back to that last play.
Well, we talked about Marvin Stone not paying enough attention to Ron Slay. Here's Stone guarding Slay. Slay's going to come down, set a little screen, and then move back up near the free throw line as the ball is entered here into the post. Now Slay stays down here in what is called no man's land because he wasn't really double teaming the post and he didn't pay attention to his man Ron Slay. Now watch, it's way too late for Slay or for Stone to get back out to Slay. You give him that much room, he's going to kill you. He's too good of a scorer and he's too good of a shooter out from that position.
And for a guy like Marvin Stone, it certainly pays for him to body up on someone. He is their eraser at 5 blocks in a game against TCU in January. Well, tomorrow, settle in for a super day of nonstop entertainment. ABC's pregame features performances by Santana.
Hard as he plays, he's got to have some wind to be able to handle that.
And apparently the only person that can out-talk him is his mom, Lolita, who comes to the games often and is heard often in the stands. And Slay, one of the great stars in the conference, and trying to lead Tennessee to an upset. Shot clock at 15. They tried to get it underneath, and there was pushing and shoving before any shot. D'Artez went down.
And as soon as the ball goes inside, Kendall D'Artez was right there to double team Slay. They want to make him give the ball up. And an awfully difficult assignment for C.J. Watson to have to not only catch the ball, but run offense when he's being guarded by Reese Gaines. Gaines is so big and long and strong. That's a difficult matchup for Watson, just a freshman.
Ron Slay got a lot stronger, rehabbing for 6 months after knee surgery. And he can now bench press 335 pounds, and he can squat about 500 pounds. He hit the weights hard. And he got bigger and stronger. And it's paying off in a great year for Tennessee, for him.
And we joke about his bubbling personality, but one thing on the floor, he's all business. And that has been a great improvement in him on the floor over the last couple of years. So it's like a little 1-3-1 half-court defense right now put on by Tennessee with Higgins running the baseline. They'll go from side to side. Now Grace Wilborn has to be smart and make sure he can get down and help him.
He rings out for Gaines, but saved by D'Artez. A nice play along the baseline. Gaines has been held to 4 points. Tennessee's done good work on him.
They have done a good job.
The three-pointer, however, knocked down by Francisco Garcia. And, of course, if it's a Rick Pitino coach team, they can all shoot the three.
They can, and they all take the three. Pitino believes he should take about 30 threes per game. He wants to take good shots, but it is a shot that is makeable as C.J. Watson attacking after the made basket.
D'Artez picks up his second foul in about the last minute.
You can see him going in against Gaines and gets right into the body of a shot blocker, Kendall D'Artez, and that's what you have to do against a shot blocker. One thing that a shot blocker wants is some space, and if you take up that space, go right into his chest, you are more likely to pick up a foul. Now, Rick Pitino believes in taking a lot of threes because he thinks it's a makeable shot, but one thing they do on the flip side is they really guard the three very well. One of the best defensive teams against the three-point shot in the country.
Louisville, the #1 scoring team in Conference USA, the #1 three-point shooting team. They're tops in assists, block shots, and victory margin as well. They're beating opponents by an average of 20 points a game. Gaines forced it in there. Out of bounds. It'll be off Louisville.
Just went off the back, I think, of Grace Wilborn, so Louisville get another shot at it.
Reese Gaines not really allowing the game to come to him, though, here in the first half.
He's forced a couple, but a big-time scorer and a guy that averaged 21 points per game last year. He was the first Cardinal since Darrell Griffith to average over 20.
Here he is again. D'Artez got hit. So foul against the Tennessee Volunteers. John Higgins in a rebound.
Well, one thing about Reese Gaines, he's had to take on the role of point guard this year and trying to shoot over Higgins, a very good defender. Nobody blocks out D'Artez. And Kendall D'Artez has been a nice surprise for this Louisville team, especially over the last few weeks. In Conference USA play, their 5 games, he's done a nice job.
D'Artez makes the first. He's a sophomore out of Cecilia, Louisiana. Tall and lanky, 6'10". He does make his field goals. He's trying to make consecutive foul shots. He made half. No foul there in the rebounding situation with Wilborn actually about to get submarine, and he decides to take matters into his own hands right there. That was an athletic play.
Well, he was up near both rims on 2 consecutive possessions. Right near the rim to get the rebound and near the rim to lay it in.
Out there for Bryant Northern, a very good three-point shooter. Tennessee up by 6.
A very intelligent first half played by Tennessee, with a couple of exceptions where they've turned the ball over and made some decisions that were not stellar. They've done a good job of running offense.
Here's Slade. Shot was blocked, but he was also fouled. And Ron Slade will go to the line.
Here's this nice little spin move against Ellis Miles. You just get into his body a little bit, spin away, and Francisco Garcia came over, as did Kendall D'Artez. But with that strength, he's able to get up a shot. I'm amazed at his ability and his knack around the basket to get shots up over bigger defenders. And Ron Slay also gets to the free throw line. He shoots almost 8 free throws per game. Shows how aggressive he is around the basket.
Well, the coaches, Buzz Peterson for Tennessee, Rick Pitino for Louisville, not afraid to use everyone they have. Lolita Slay, we talked about Ron Slay's mom and how supportive she is and how vocal she is. And some say she can out trash talk her son. In a very sweet way, though.
Well, Ron is going to be an NBA player. He's got an awful lot of ability.
Lane violation will give the ball to Louisville. The Cardinals trying to go to 14-1, but they're down 7 on the road in Knoxville. Get a free throw shooting. Tennessee going to the line a lot more.
A couple things that Louisville wanted to take away from Tennessee in this ballgame. One was their 3-point shooting of their guards, and the other, they wanted to keep them off the free throw line. And thus far, they've not been able to do the latter.
Gaines
needs to give that ball up.
He goes down, and a foul will go against the Volunteers. Looked like some pretty tough defense by Tennessee. Gaines losing his balance. Peterson didn't think he was fouled. He thought he just lost his balance and hit the deck. But Gaines goes to the line. He's just 1 for 5 from the field so far. 2 for 2 from the line. 5:05 left in the half.
Gaines has done a nice job in Conference USA play himself. He shot a really good percentage at 56% over his last 5 games.
Pitino is going to be run up with a technical. He was livid after that play. And a technical against Rick Pitino. Now in practice he may need a microphone to save his voice, but the referees, they hear him loud and clear without one on this floor. Holding to shoot.
I don't know exactly what he said, but whatever he did, it set off the official, and that set off Rick.
So Holden hit the first, another one coming. And Tennessee is quietly building a lead here. Well, not too quietly in their own building. 31-24 over the number 14 team in the country. And Tennessee will have the ball as well.
I think Rick was upset over bailing a guy out of a bad shot.
Holden started and grabbed that foot. He turns it over. Now, how much of Patino in that situation was looking at his team maybe a little flat, not on a real flow offensively, and just trying to spark them?
Maybe a little bit. I think he was more trying to make a point with an official.
See, gives it off, now gets it back.
I've never been a big fan of getting a technical to fire up my team because it usually costs you 2 points, and that's too valuable.
Northern with a 3 on the way. Out in front, Watson.
Oh, what a block!
A block from behind by Northern. Where did he come from?
Boy, and he took it right out of his hand. That was a great block and clean. And now he'll hit a 3. Oh.
A jump ball, and it will be Tennessee ball.
What a spectacular block by Bryant Northern, coming from behind against C.J. Watson. That is about as clean as you can get. You can't call that one.
That's a great play.
And remember, the hand is a part of the ball when it is on the ball. So that was a great play by Bryant Northern. And not giving up on the play as well. That's really good basketball.
Yep. Northern, a former walk-on, the scholarship last year. Tennessee is geared up. The stuff on the fast break, and they have their biggest lead in this game, 33-24.
They're running opportunistically when it's not there. They've done a pretty good job of pulling it back out. That's not the shot.
Yeah, he wanted to quiet the crowd with a 3, but it wasn't there. And now this building is on its feet.
A 1-4 set. It goes away from the ball screen. Good drive.
Stanley Asunu, the freshman. 33-24 Tennessee with 3:27 left. Remember, Louisville has that ability to come back on people, but the Volunteers are looking sharp in the first half. Carl, thank you very much. Hey, hold that thought about no upsets, because there's one in progress right now. Tennessee leading number 14 Louisville 33-24. Now, we've talked about Louisville's ability to come back on people, and when they do, this is the amazing thing, Jay, they thump the other guy. I mean, look at these results. Only one of those games was close.
Well, Louisville has been a second half team. They shoot 54% on the season in the second half, and that is usually when games are on the line, so it says a lot about their ability to concentrate and their ability to get things done in the second period.
Well, their ability to hit the three-point shot has been non-existent today, and there's Watson. C.J. Watson to build on that lead, but Louisville just 1 for 13 from three-point land.
Louisville's got to do a better job of getting over screens or hedging out harder. They've been hurt with their communication and their ability to handle ball screens and get over screens.
Garcia short.
Boy, it's one pass and a shot for the Cardinals right now.
And they're missing everything. They're shooting 32% from the field.
Well, they're not getting good shots. A lot of the shots they're taking are contested. And if you move the ball around, make that defense move, ultimately it'll break down and you'll get some uncontested shots.
It's tipped to Gaines. So a break for the Cardinals, and they need a few. Garcia got it to George for 2. And for once, a crisp play by the Cardinals to get a basket.
And a nice play by Garcia to shot fake and let everybody fly by.
Hey, tonight at 8 Eastern, the college basketball action concludes on ESPN. A very busy day on your home for college hoops. A huge SEC matchup. Keith Bogans in Kentucky. Visit Irwin Dudley and the Alabama Crimson Tide. NCAA basketball on ESPN. Alabama with a 28-game home winning streak. That's number 10 against number 13.
And in order to win that game, Alabama's going to have to get the ball inside to Irwin Dudley. He's the reigning Southeastern Conference Player of the Year, the top rebounder, and he's a guy that I don't think touches the ball enough. They need to get it into him and then kick it back out.
Okay, it's easy to say when they were #1 in one of the polls, they were overrated clearly. But as a top 10 team, are they overrated when they were that high?
No, they're clearly capable of being a top 10 team, but so are about 15 or 16 teams. And it's all about results. And playing in a conference as tough as the SEC, you have got to win ball games at home and then try to steal as many as you can on the road, because you will not find any tougher games anywhere than are played in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, on the road on an SEC floor, Louisville's Rick Pitino is in trouble. He's already been teed up by the referees as he was teed off at something. George flying in there for the rebound. He's trying to ignite them. Now Dean will pull it out for Gaines, who's just 1 for 5 shooting it. No foul on that play. He hit the deck. No whistle.
And another forced opportunity by Louisville.
Under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Holden around the screen. Jumped right into the paint. And it's tipped up and in by George of Louisville. He tipped it into the basket.
Trying to tip it up so he could get control of it.
Everything really going wrong for Louisville. The shooting percentage 32%, 1 for 14 from 3-point distance. Patino's had a technical on him, and now they knock it into the basket themselves. A hoop for Tennessee. Coming up with Carl Ravitch at halftime. Wildcats jumping all over the Jayhawks. The Panthers rally late. And Notre Dame needs overtime against Boston College.
That Kansas-Arizona game, a heavyweight matchup in Lawrence, and I think Arizona showed what kind of team and what kind of potential they have to be a great team.
Gaines misses at the foul line for the first time. He's 5 for 6, 7 points for Reese Gaines, Louisville's top scorer. Watson lines one up. Got it.
Got to do a better job. Not only that dribble handoff, but stepping off that second screen. Big guys have got to do a better job of helping.
Count the basket. Gaines getting free, and he takes the foul.
Well, you can't rest for 1 second after you score. Louisville did a great job of moving the ball down the floor after a made basket. And oftentimes after you score, you can take a little more time getting back because time's taken up with the team having to inbound it. But Louisville gets the ball in quickly and down court quickly, and that puts a lot of pressure on your transition defense.
1:03 to play in a half. Gaines to attempt a 3-point play here. And with the foul shot, he'll get into double figures. So the lead is at 9. Slade trying to get away from his man and does on the dribble. He brings it into the offensive zone. So Ron Slade, the 6'8" senior, showing he can handle the basketball a bit.
Use some clock here.
Louisville so active defensively, though. Right up in Tennessee's grill.
Almost forced to walk there.
Watson tried to feed underneath. It's tipped off of Louisville, though. Lucky break there for the Volunteers. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
And this is where Tennessee in their huddle needs to communicate as to exactly how much time there is.
Holden will come back in. Thaddeus Holden. He's been a spark. The senior out of Silsbee, Texas.
That gives Buzz Peterson another shooter on the floor.
There have been 20 players make an appearance in this game already. Cross court, Watson, shot clock winding down. But Holden able to keep it alive as he went along that baseline, and he has really been scrappy in the first half for Tennessee.
And Rick Pitino is beside himself right now that his team let the smallest man on the floor come away with an offensive rebound after they worked so hard to defend on that last possession.
Thaddeus Holden listed as 6 feet. You know, Tennessee would love to be up to the double figures with the lead going into the locker room. 28.7 seconds left.
Well, that's why that was such a big possession. Louisville comes away with that rebound after defending pretty well on that occasion and had the chance to cut it down to 6 with a 3. And games are won and lost on possessions like that.
Holden very smooth at the foul line. And now another big man, Brandon Crump, comes in. He's 6'10". And they take Slay out to make sure he doesn't pick up a cheap foul.
1-3-1 zone here.
Gaines wants it. He gives off for Garcia for a 3-pointer, and he got it.
Plenty of time for Tennessee to get off a good shot here.
Louisville just 2 for 15 from 3-point distance. 5 seconds left in the half. It's Holden knifing through. George slapped the rebound, but it is out of bounds off of Louisville.
.4, just enough time for a catch and shoot, but it better be a quick one. And you better hope the timer has a slow finger. At .3, all you can get is a controlled tip. .4, it is possible to catch and shoot.
There's been a clock controversy in the Big 12 recently.
Exactly, and that was a little bit of a different deal than this, but it happened at the University of Oklahoma. They're going to get to the bottom of it.
He did have time to catch and shoot it, but no good. And yet Tennessee at halftime has an upset, perhaps ready against number 14 Louisville. It is 41-33. The Volunteers at home in Knoxville looking good after 20 minutes.
Game plan, because it's been very well executed. Tennessee's done a terrific job of getting the tempo they wanted, and you know that Rick Pitino talked to his team in the second half about trying to increase that tempo and play better defense. L. Grace Wilborn had 6 points in that first half, did a terrific job of running the floor, using his athleticism, awfully easy baskets for him. And Ron Slay had 8 points in the first half, the leading scorer in the Southeastern Conference. You've got to make him put that ball on the floor and double team him. And I thought C.J. Watson was terrific in the first half. He got the tempo that Tennessee wanted. He handled himself very well, took his scoring opportunities when they were there. He had 9 points in the first half, and Louisville really needs to keep this Tennessee team off the free throw line in the second half. 16 free throws in the first half for Tennessee. They made 15 of them.
Louisville just 2 out of 15 from the 3-point line in the first half. And Tennessee shot 50%. That's pretty much unheard of when facing this Louisville team.
Nice play.
Gaines threading his way through.
Coming off that ball screen and just cut right toward the basket. Now, Louisville's guards did not shoot the ball very well in the first half. The 3 main guards went 2 of 13 in the first half. 0 of 8 from 3.
Holden, he stays high. Went back out of bounds on his backside after nailing that 3. Gaines answers. And Gaines is really hopping now. He's hit the first 2 shots he's taken here in the second half.
Well, I can believe that their manhood was questioned at halftime by their coach, because they did not play the way they have been taught to play.
Foul on the floor. 1 minute into the second half, and the pace is very, very high for Pitino and his team.
You can see the 37% field goal shooting by Louisville. That was primarily, in my judgment, because they took a lot of bad shots, and the 2 of 15 from 3, an indication of that. It's not the amount of threes they took, it was when they took them and how they took them. That's a makeable shot for the guys that took it, but they took it out of the flow of the offense.
One facing the basket, thought he was fouled. And indeed, there will be a whistle.
It's going to go against Slay. And Ellis Miles, a strong and very good rebounder. And not a bad actor either. He went down in a heap, and I don't think he was hit that hard.
Trump thought he was fouled on the elbow in the act of shooting. He may have been. Traveling. They got it into Stone, but he moved the foot.
No, that was a good call.
And it gives it back to Tennessee.
Marvin Stone has given Louisville a great low post presence. Got 5. They didn't get the timeout in time.
Did not get it. That's right.
And we talked in the first half about coaches don't like to have timeouts called. They like it a lot better than a 5-second call and giving up the ball. So you got to do a better job of making yourself available. Those are not good turnovers.
Gaines with a quick look in and out. But Stone with the loose ball. They're going to wave off that basket, and the foul will be against Stone or Garcia.
Rick Pitino needs to be a little careful here. He's not saying anything, but a little demonstrative, and you don't want to watch the rest of this game from the locker room. Stone just knocked that ball away, and that right arm flailed a little bit, but it was nothing intentional.
But he picks up his third foul.
That's one I think in most instances referees would let go.
Watson to set up a play for Buzz Peterson, the second-year head coach at Tennessee.
Out of a 1-4 set. They love these dribble handoffs. A lot of options off of it.
Slay was open. They found him, but he could not get it.
Well, you're not going to see that very often.
That was a gimme for Ron Slay. Traveling. So here comes the Louisville pressure again. Dartez gets back into the game for Rick Pitino.
You know that after that first half where Tennessee got the tempo it wanted, playing more of a half-court game, that Louisville's going to try to press and cause this kind of turnover all throughout the second half.
Gaines with the steal out of that press.
There was an example of going too fast. Here's the bump. Where's the weak side help?
Right down Main Street, and look at Gaines. He's doing some strutting, and his teammates are fired up. He has been the man here in the opening minutes of the second half, bringing Louisville back. Now they're down by 4. Well, the Tennessee lead has been cut down to 4 because of Reese Gaines.
And Tennessee needs to show more of a sense of urgency. You see the high screen right here, and Reese Gaines comes right off the screen. Nobody comes over to step in, and he gets all the way to the basket. That weak side help's got to come over quicker and get in there to take that charge, or at least make him kick it out. And Reese Gaines has 7 points. All 7 points for Louisville to start this second half, and all of a sudden he's got 17 points. Shows why he is Louisville's best scorer.
A bump and a steal, but also a foul on Gaines to reach in, and that'll be number 2.
And I'm not sure that was a foul, but Rick Pitino made a beeline for the bench. Watch him after this foul. Rick Pitino sits down as fast as anybody on the planet after this bump. He wanted to make sure he didn't pick up that second technical.
He was hit with 1 in the first half. So the Louisville coach will have to be a little quieter. The drive, Watson went knifing in and took some contact as well.
And some strong drives to the basket by Holden and also by Watson.
Buzz Peterson used to these close games. His team last year 15 and 16. They lost a number of overtime and 1- and 2-point games. They lost on Wednesday in overtime to Georgia, 81-76. They've also lost by 3 to Kentucky 3 weeks ago, and 3 to West Virginia in December, and his wife is getting used to it.
When you lose close games, it is awfully difficult to get back up off the mat, but this Tennessee team has done that, especially when they played so well against Georgia, who may just be the best team in the Southeastern Conference. They've certainly got the big athletic wings, and if they continue to guard people, they've got a real shot to be a Final Four team. Staggered screen. Now Higgins off the second stagger.
Off balance too. Knocked to the floor. It'll stay right here, and this is going to be at least one more opportunity for Tennessee. They're going to get 3 cracks at it.
Well, Grace Wilborn's done a nice job in this ballgame. He's been very active. He's used his athleticism.
Really did a nice job of chasing down that loose ball. Watson has been under control all game long. He's a smart player. You don't have to tell him anything twice.
Just a freshman. That would go over to Louisville. 16:45 left. And tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, Andre Agassi seeks his 4th Australian Open title. The man standing in his way, 26-year-old German Rainer Schubler. The Australian Open men's final live on ESPN. Jay Billis, Dave O'Brien with you from Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. The fadeaway by Gaines. Not that time.
And it's an awfully difficult shot. A good drive, but he was falling away.
Well, the referee with the whistle and a timeout.
Something fell off of Marvin Stone. He wears a little brace on his knee for his patella tendons, and just snapped and came off. He needed to put it back on. Those braces keep a little bit of extra pressure on that patella tendon and takes away some of the tendonitis you feel during the course of the game. Tendonitis is called jumper's knee. I had it, but didn't have the luxury of being a jumper.
Well, did you have a three-point stroke like that? John Higgins. He gets it to go, and Tennessee's back in front by 7.
Really have to make him put the ball on the floor. He does not shoot the three off the dribble.
Blocking foul. And John Higgins was almost the hero in that Wednesday loss to number 19 Georgia. He hit 2 3-pointers in the last 12 seconds of regulation. Here's the foul.
Marvin Stone making that move. That was a little bit of a flop right there.
Vlade Divac would be proud of that one. 15:57 left. A 7-point lead for the ball. Well, Carl, I'll tell you what, Rick Pitino is 15-3 in his career against Tennessee. He needs a lot more Reese Gaines here down the stretch to pull out a win, but he loves his guard.
I think he's the premier guard in the country. That's my belief. Now, it is a biased belief because I haven't seen every guard in the country, but coming from the pros and looking at what you like to see in the pros, size-wise, defensive ability, quickness, and the fact that this young man plays every possession as if it's his last on earth, speaks so well of him in practice and in games.
He is certainly one of the premier guards. I would put Kirk Heinrich as the premier 2-guard in the country, but Reese Gaines is right there with him. Heinrich, an outstanding shooter, terrific defender as well. And I think you heard something very telling in Rick Pitino's statement there about Reese Gaines. He said, coming from the pros, I know what the pros like. And what a great selling point that is for recruits. The fact that Rick Pitino spent a lot of time in the pros, not only with the Boston Celtics, but with the New York Knicks. And he understands the professional game and how to get you there. And that will certainly sway a lot of young people, in addition to the fact that Rick Pitino, one of the finest college basketball coaches I've ever seen.
Yeah, quite a recruiting tool. The foul on Stone.
One of the great things that Rick Pitino does, he spends a lot of time with his players in individual work, and I think it really does pay off. He was an outstanding guards coach and certainly coached big guys as well.
Higgins gets it back for Slay. He's wide open. It rattles in.
The big guys on Slay are getting caught helping too much. And they have not been effective on the help, and they certainly haven't been effective in the few possessions trying to get back to Ron Slay. Got to stay with him.
Louisville came racing out of the locker room in the second half, but it's a traveling violation. Louisville gives it back to Tennessee. Now all of a sudden the momentum is clearly on the side of Buzz Peterson and Tennessee. And they're leading by 9 points. Timeout Louisville.
Louisville makes a run. The question, can Tennessee answer? And they have. Because they are really driving the ball. When the ball's moved around from side to side, they are putting it on the floor and attacking the basket.
A foul before anything was inbounded on Dean. Number 5 for the Cardinals.
Larry O'Bannon coming into the ball game for Dean.
Louisville has got to start playing with their feet.
Louisville against Tennessee. Jay Billis, Dave O'Brien with you from Thompson Bowling Arena, the home of the Tennessee Volunteers, who had their hearts broken by Louisville. They storming back and beat them at Freedom Hall in Louisville last December of a season ago. So some payback due the Cardinals, the Volunteers will tell you. Slay had it blocked, but Holden has it on the baseline. Another chance knocked out of his hands. So the Volunteers still have it with 8 on the shot clock.
Ron Slay will shake and bake, and Kendall D'Artez so long able to just get a piece of that ball and proving that you don't have to grab every rebound by the rim. Holden picks one up.
Here's Higgins. And there's Slay.
Ron Slay has just got a knack around the ball. Here's the high screen again.
Johnson dribbles away from trouble. Slay fakes. Bumping on D'Artez, trying to get around him, but those long arms paid off again.
Just the ability to get up shots around the basket against bigger defenders, and Louisville's got to take better care of the ball.
Little bumper pool going on here. Slay, offense by accident. And he almost trampled his own man under the basket. He almost fell on top of Holden. The man left open Garcia. And a foul. 13:54 left. Tennessee back in front by 11 points. It hasn't been pretty the last couple of minutes, but they are scoring.
Tennessee has really been going hard after the ball. They out-rebounded Louisville in that first half by 10. A large measure of that was the fact that so many bad shots, in my judgment, were taken by Louisville. That gave a great opportunity for Tennessee to grab those defensive boards.
Wilborn, a terrific leaper, limping over to the scorer's table to check in. Brown, a nice fake. And another foul. And all of a sudden, a flurry of whistles, as well as a flurry of basketballs on the floor. Wilborn to check back in. Grace Wilborn with a couple of roof-rattling dunks in the first half.
Louisville taking the pressure off of the ball to try to get more pressure and try to deny.
Getting into Watson. He's played a very heady game. The turnovers. Tennessee 8 times in the first half. Louisville has not kicked it over very often, but they have not shot well. 37% for the game.
Louisville doing a better job, at least thus far, getting over some screens in their half-court defense.
Winchester. Got to look at the shot clock. Passed along the baseline. Cortez hauls away the rebound. Gaines to push it. Banked it in, and he'll go to the line as well. He wants to take over this game. Just look at his eyes.
Well, he's taking advantage of opportunities much better in the second half than he did in the first, and recognizing what he's got in front of him here in transition, just putting the ball on the floor and attacking the hole. Got the angle and was able to finish the play, putting it high off the glass, even with the contact. And good players make plays, great players finish plays. And this is a young man who is a great college player, and I think he'll play at the next level.
Now 11th on Louisville's career scoring list, Reese Gaines. And they've had a lot of kids come through the program.
A lot of great ones.
A lot of great players. The best Louisville start since 1996-97 is this one, 13-1.
See L. Grace Wilborn down on the floor right now on his back. And it could be just a cramp with the way they are attending to his foot there. What an athlete. 5 guys on this Tennessee team have vertical leaps of 38 inches or better.
That is remarkable.
That is incredible.
5 men. You know, a couple of them are not 6'7", 6'8", but hey, 38 inches. That's flying. And they have 5 different guys with that kind of a vertical leap. I don't know if any other program in the country can say that. And Wilborn remains down. 13 minutes, 4 seconds to play. Tennessee had certainly recaptured floor for a couple of minutes before being let off. Let's see if he goes to the training room. That's usually an indication it's something else other than a cramp. Right now he's remaining over by his bench. 51-43. The press again, and it forces a turnover for Louisville. And a travel, they give it right back. How about that? Boy, they work like dogs to get it. Patino said, yep, I'm not going to argue it. He already has a technical on him tonight. Well, clearly they did turn that one over. Right back it goes to the home team.
Nice job of switching there by Reese Gaines. This is what Louisville would like, is to have a big guy bring the ball up, keep it out of the hands of the better handlers. Tennessee's done a really nice job of running their half-court offense. They've been strong with the ball. They've been strong with their cuts because Louisville does a good job of bumping cutters, and they run right through them.
Well, Jay, it might be a time to put away that law degree and go after that medical license you've always wanted, because we're being told indeed it is a cramp for L. Grace Wilborn.
Well, I used to cramp up a lot too. That's how I knew that. Whenever I got tired, I just cramp up.
Kicked in. Here's Slay. Nope. Crump with a one-handed rebound, and they put it right back.
Tennessee just playing stronger. And that ball has been loose. It's been the Volunteers that have come up with it.
Gaines trying to do it himself around his back, but nothing there. Nothing opened up.
Now they're calling a set. A flex action down low.
Stone back in the game.
A lot of standing around right now for Louisville.
Shot clock is at 1. Brown got in and got it. Just as it was sounding. He found his way into the paint. 53-45.
Tennessee doing a nice job of keeping things spread. Their spacing has been excellent.
Slay draws 2 and throws it away.
He tried to throw it off of a defender. Couldn't get it out.
Gaines pulls up. He swishes it. And look out now, because Reese Gaines is going to start getting hot again if they leave him open.
And all of a sudden it's a 2-possession game. And now Louisville can put some game pressure on Tennessee. It's a lot different taking a shot when you're up 11 than when it's 6.
He just lost it. Gave it right back over to Louisville.
This is where you have to be smart right here. You work so hard to get it down to 6.
Gaines with a 3. Almost came all the way back to him. Garcia picked it off. And now Patino asks for set play.
A little isolation for Marvin Stone.
A foul against Tennessee. Remember now, we pointed it out in the first half and early in the second half. Louisville's modus operandi this season has been several times falling behind by big margins and then storming back in the second half to win. They're trying to keep their winning streak going and make it 13 in a row. Louisville, the number 14 Cardinals, trying to make their way back on the road in Tennessee. Jay Billis, Dave O'Brien with you. Gaines has had an excellent second half, 22 points, and 12 of those since the second half got underway.
Couple of streaks on the line for Louisville. Their win streak and also their streak of holding opponents under 40% shooting, and this will not help.
Holden on the long lead, lays it in. Bad break for Louisville. Garcia went up for the rebound and then lost it in midair and then hit the ground hard. It turned into a quick bucket for Tennessee.
And you know, David, mentioning those 2 streaks, the field goal percentage defensive streak and their winning streak, those 2 streaks are tied to one another.
A foul, 10-12 to play in this contest. Yeah, against DePaul on Wednesday, Louisville running their record to 13-1. They held DePaul to 34% shooting. So 10 consecutive opponents they've held under 40%. They haven't done it to Tennessee today, though.
Primarily because Tennessee has been strong with the ball. They have gotten the tempo they wanted on the offensive end. Louisville tries to force the tempo with their defense, and I think they aided Tennessee in controlling the tempo by taking a lot of quick shots that weren't necessarily good ones.
Pretty vicious slam by Brandon Crump. 57-48, under 10 minutes left.
But hasn't Tennessee made some great decisions?
Yes.
When they've been faced with pressure, they've broken that pressure to score. But when it's not been there, they've pulled it out, and they've really made Louisville guard them. Nice pass.
To Brown on the cut. Eric Brown with a bucket. It seems every time Louisville makes a run and it appears they might take over the game, that's when the Volunteers are able to put up a couple of shots of their own to extend their lead.
Well, you remember when Louisville had cut the lead to 6, got the ball back after a turnover. They came down, and immediately, without making a pass, Reese Gaines jacked up a 3. Now, was it a makeable shot? Absolutely. But that's one way you make him guard.
Crump trying to have 2 spectacular dunks back-to-back. Slay winds up into the crowd.
And you could really get hurt doing that. Boy, that was a dangerous play. Give a lot of credit to Ron Slay for going after that ball, but those steps are made of concrete. You can see Brandon Brandon Crump almost getting this in there. Great hustle. And I hope that Ron Slay is okay.
He's back on the floor.
That is a play that Ron Slay might not have made a couple of years ago. He's really matured into a terrific player and a winner.
Dean gives off for Gaines.
Nice screen by D'Artez, and he splits it.
Corner jumper by Brown. Rebounded by Stone, right back to the rack. He tips his own miss. Got another one. The foul and the basket. Undaunted Marvin Stone, the former Kentucky Wildcat.
That is called being strong. Marvin Stone getting the rebound and going up strong against Slay. Slay wanted the offensive foul, but Stone sticks with it, and that's a nice finish to get it stripped and then to have the presence to finish that play. And Marvin Stone has not gotten a lot of opportunities inside in this ball game. Got one offensive foul called on him. Tennessee has hung with Louisville in the points in the paint department.
Well, Stone with 11 points, 9 rebounds. He's made his presence felt, as he did against his old team Kentucky on December 28th. 16 points, 7 rebounds in that one.
Important possession right now for Tennessee. They want to make sure they get a good shot and try to increase this working margin.
Almost thrown away. The catch by Slay. The shot clock is down to 12. He went bowling his way in there, and again Slay goes hard to the deck.
You can pick 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Kendall D'Artez had his
Hands all over him, didn't play with his feet there.
Folks, tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, Andre Agassi seeks his 4th Australian Open title. The man standing in his way, 26-year-old German Rainer Schüttler. Boy, what a great name for a tennis player, Schüttler. The Australian Open men's final live on ESPN. Agassi would be the first non-Aussie to win a 4th overall.
Saw Chris Fowler enjoying himself in Australia at the Aussie Open.
Yeah, football season's over. It's the college season.
Take a look at Ron Slay's mom. Yeah, I would have thought that Chris Fowler would have hustled right into the studio for college basketball instead of running out to do tennis. But
Good luck getting by Reese Davis and getting into the studio.
exactly.
I mean,
Hardest working man in show business.
He's always there.
Next to Carl Rabbit.
Yeah. And Carl manning the board today.
Who thankfully came back from Hawaii to help us out with college basketball.
Well, like the rest of us, he may be watching an upset. If Tennessee can hang on, they'll snap that Louisville winning streak.
Tennessee back into the zone, and Marvin Stone has really been strong on the glass. What a block!
But he was rejected by Crump. Still Louisville ball, though. They turn it over. Holden with a great ball. Look at that play by Gaines.
Not only the quickness, but the hands.
Brown trying to keep it going. Nails the 3. And here come the Cardinals.
Boy, how about that turnaround, Dave?
That was some ferocious end-to-end action.
And we talked about Reese Gaines' ability on the defensive end. Exhibit A.
Well, they played a great game at Freedom Hall in December of a year ago. In 2001, last season.
Louisville's doing a better job of getting their hands up to Scott. Getting away at passes. Nice drive.
Slay fouled as well. And with mom Lolita looking on, he'll go to the line for a 3-point play.
Marvin Stone standing straight up, just not able to move his feet quick enough. Kendall D'Artez couldn't get over there to stop that drive, and that is pretty strong to make that drive left-handed. Ron Slay around that free throw line area, top of the key, is such a threat because he can hit that 3-point shot, and he can also put the ball on the floor and attack the goal.
You made the comparison between Ron Slay and maybe a younger Charles Barkley. It looks a pretty fair comparison.
No, I think it is. I've called him Baby Barkley for a while. He can count on his own show now, maybe.
7-11 left in this contest at Dandy in Knoxville. Been in the second half, but now it's a 6-point game. And Louisville has their reputation of storming back and winning games when they've been down in double digits. They're trying to do it again here tonight. That's who scored. Tennessee 62. Louisville, number 14 in the poll, 56. Jay Billis, Dave O'Brien with you from Thompson Bowling Arena. And as we revisit our Star Watch, and we'll check in with how this is held up. Well, it certainly has in Gaines' situation 22 points. In the second half, he has 12. Slay with 17 points. He's getting to the line. He's 6 for 6.
Well, that's one area where he's been scoring an awful lot of points this year. Almost 8 free throw attempts per game for Ron Slay. Have to get the ball out of his hands. When he's gotten it in the post, he's been double teamed, but where he's been most effective is around the top of the key high post area, where he's been able to get some shots up and also some drives.
Gaines and Slay, both candidates, serious candidates for their conference's player of the year.
Gaines has had a terrific career at Louisville. Top 10 all time. In steals and assists, he will be there very shortly in points.
Northern did not shoot it. Shot clock is at 5 and a whistle. Actually it's 7 and a whistle before the shot attempt.
Pretty good move there by Marvin Stone there in the short corner, facing up and giving a little jab step and going around his man. And with much more confidence. When he was at Kentucky, he hung his head a little bit, had a lot of people whispering in his ear, and I hated to see him transfer from there because I thought he should have stuck it out, but he certainly landed in a good place for him. And there are some times when a transfer is helpful to a kid, and that's why I dislike the 5-8 rule so much. Fourth personal foul you can see on L. Grace Wilborn, because I don't think college coaches are running off players. I don't think that happens. I think players should be free to move. They sit out the year for competitive balance reasons. But the team he leaves should not be punished and not be able to replace that kid. That 5-8 rule has got to go.
Stone had problems at Kentucky. He and Tubby Smith did not see eye to eye on perhaps how to use him. He had some off-court trouble as well. The death of his father. Had a difficult time there. But he is flourishing here at Louisville. And he has 13 points and 11 rebounds. So he's come up big. Slay knifes his way in. Kicks it off. The open jumper though. And that's been a problem for Tennessee for stretches here in the second half. 62-58. Stone nearly lost it.
Good job by Wilborn. And that's why you pressure big guys on the perimeter. A lot of coaches will have their big men hang off because Marvin Stone's not going to score out there, but you can make him turn it over if you really put some pressure on him. Good pass.
Zips it to Brown. It rolled off.
Well, you wonder how that pass got through.
Higgins, dangerous from three-point land, missed badly. And a jump ball and the rebound.
Higgins should have given a shot fake there, let Brown run past him.
Tennessee has the arrow. 5:41 left.
And Louisville has cut it to 3. They are now within 4, but they've got a problem getting over the hump, as they say, and taking the lead.
This is where mental toughness comes in on the offensive end. And make Louisville guard you, get a good shot, try to extend this lead.
The shot clock has been frozen. Stolen away there by Dean, and he will lay it in.
And the 35-second shot clock never moved when it turned over. Now it looks like it's back in working order.
Whoa! Oh, vicious pick.
Ooh, that's where Ellis Miles has to call that off and take Taekwon Dean. Just bounced right back up.
Dean with a reach in.
Now look at Dean's face. Right now he's saying, now explain this to me. I just get hit by a truck and that's okay. And I touch him on the arm and he gets 2 free throws. How is that fair?
I'm picking up my teeth. Yeah, 5:04 on the clock, a 2-point game. And they whistle a foul to put Watson to the line. For Dean, his 4th. So doubly painful. Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. Glad you're joining us on this Saturday evening. Jay Billis, Dave O'Brien. And coming up next, The Arctic Cat Deadwood Shootout. Stay right where you are here on ESPN2. And snowmobiling. The lead at 3. So Louisville, which has never led in the game, trying to at least tie it on this possession. They might here, and they do. Knocked down by Northern. Tie game at 63.
And Brian Northern, even though he was once a walk-on at Louisville, is unafraid to take big shots. At 18 points in the second half against Ohio State.
Slay comes right back, though. The top scorer in the SEC gets Tennessee back up 65-63.
Well, that was awfully easy for Louisville to give that up after working so hard.
Three-pointer, he got it. And the little guy knocks it down.
First lead for Louisville in this ballgame.
Taekwon Dean. A foul by Miles.
Boy, that was a great job by Ron Slay. He basically posted up at the top of the key and kept Miles on his hip, and Miles had to come over the back. That's excellent use of the body.
So for the first time all day and evening, Buzz Peterson looks up at the clock and sees his team is trailing to number 14 Louisville.
And this Louisville team is nothing if not resilient. They have not played their best game as you take a look at Rick Pitino, his staff, Vince Taylor right behind him.
Tonight at 8 Eastern, the college basketball action concludes on ESPN.
TJ Ford averaging over 18 points per game in conference play, and that 15-3 mark that Rick Pitino has against Tennessee, the majority of that coming at Kentucky. And this building, Thompson Bowling Arena, a few seats bigger than Rupp Arena, and don't think that wasn't intentional.
Slay with 21 points. His foul shots give the Volunteers a 1-point advantage.
And Northern has to be careful. He almost threw that ball away.
Gaines finds Stone. Off the rim. Slay with a rebound.
And a nice block out by Ron Slay, keeping Kendall Dartez away from the basket.
Watson off the handoff.
Well, they missed Slay inside. He got a little back pick after that dribble handoff, and he was open. But the pressure did not allow Tennessee to see in.
Tennessee whittling away the shot clock. It is now at 6.
Oh, this is going up.
Slay turns it over. He could not control his dribble. So Tennessee gives it up. Louisville trying to retake the lead when we come back in Knoxville.
Win recently with this Tennessee program, played on the 1976 Olympic team, and just a magnificent coach and a terrific person.
She's there with her son Tyler. And what do you get for the little boy who has everything? Well, you get him a bobblehead of mom. Coming up on 3 minutes left.
And awfully difficult for Louisville to get the ball inside against this Tennessee team.
There's Dean outside. Whistle stops the clock at 2:53 to play. So Gaines being very, very cautious, very careful with the ball, and careful not to take a bad shot. He has 22 points, and he leads all scorers. 4 fouls now on Ron Slay, the Tennessee star. He sends Dartez to the line.
Slay is experienced enough to be able to play effectively with fouls. But Tennessee has done a nice job defensively. They've sloughed off a little bit and have made it awfully difficult for Louisville to penetrate and to get the ball inside effectively.
How big a win for Tennessee if they can knock off Louisville today?
I think it'd be terrific for their confidence level, and very important for their RPI rating and their standing with the NCAA tournament committee. This is the kind of non-conference game that can be the difference in a tournament bid or in staying home.
Higgins,
he's been off today.
He sure has.
He's had a couple of looks where he's had people flying at him, and he hasn't put the ball down on the floor to get to an open area. He is a much better shooter than he has shown.
Every shot he's taken has been a three-point attempt. He's 2 for 7.
The pressure has made it difficult to get the ball inside.
Higgins inside the three-point line. Well, that was the secret.
Much better shot.
The ball's up by 1 again. Bowling Arena collectively on its feet now. Gaines got it into the corner. Asumu did not hit it though. That was a three-point effort. Stay right where you are. The Deadwood Shootout is next here on ESPN2. We have a timeout. Tennessee.
And Mom very proud and very happy right now as her son's team is up 1 on the Louisville Cardinals, ranked 14th in the country. And Slay right at the number that he averages and leads the Southeastern Conference.
Last year he missed the last 15 games of the season with a torn ACL. There have been no repercussions because of the knee problem. He's been completely healthy all season.
Nice job by Eric Brown.
They had 4 ties, 4 lead changes. Slay walked with it.
Had a tough time picking it up with that right hand. And just shuffled, as our colleague Bill Rafter would say, he shuffled the puppies.
Well, the crowd wants a defensive stop.
Louisville forcing about the same number of turnovers they do on the year. And as well as they've been guarded, they've needed every turnover.
Gaines very tightly guarded.
What a nice job defensively by Tennessee. Shot clock down to 7.
But he found a seam. There's D'Artez from close range.
Boy, that's a tough shot for a big guy. Nicely done by D'Artez.
Gaines draws so much attention. Someone's got to be open. So 45 seconds left. Louisville leading by 1. Who wants to shoot it for Tennessee?
Well, you could have gotten a 2 for 1. You won't get one now.
Higgins, an excellent three-point man. Drives. Off the side of the backboard with that errant shot.
You need to think about fouling right here.
And they do.
That's 5 on Slay.
Yep, Slay is gone. He fouls Eric Brown. Not the shot they wanted. And that's the understatement.
Trying to get this clock stopped, and Ron Slay giving of himself. That might have been one where he would have been better off letting Brown go by and letting one of his teammates foul. You might have given up 4 or 5 seconds on the clock, but that may have been worth it. Terrific game and a tough way to go out.
So the Volunteers play the last 24.6 seconds without their star.
And even if Louisville hits both of these free throws, you are looking at a 1-possession game. Well, right now, important for Louisville first to step to the line with confidence and knock these free throws down, but you also have got to get back and discourage the three-point shot on the other end.
Both teams have shot them very effectively today. And Brown continues that trend. Eric Brown is actually the cousin of Kentucky Wildcat legend Jack Goose Gibbons. Remember him in the 1978 final?
He only had 41 in that game.
It's tough to recall Goose Gibbons after that kind of an effort.
Never forget him hitting one off the backboard from the corner. It hit the side of the backboard, still went in. That's when you know you're hot.
Well, Brown hits both free throws.
Either Holden or Higgins, perhaps coming off a screen. But I would think attacking the basket the way to go. With the high screen and then go right to the hole.
Watson beyond the three-point arc.
Taking too much time. Taking too much time.
9 seconds left. Watson drives in, can't get it.
That
was good.
They need the tie. No good. Tossed up and in, but after the buzzer, that will not count. And your final as Louisville hangs on for dear life. The Cardinals 72 and Tennessee 69. That's 13 consecutive wins for Rick Pitino and the Louisville Cardinals.
Greg Johnson, Clement Carter, Charles Gaines, Dante Stiggers, and Mario Miles for the Golden Eagles tonight. Southern Miss 9-7, 2-3 in league play, and James Green, his 7th season here at Southern Miss, the 2nd winningest coach to M.K. Turk in Southern Miss basketball history. The Louisville Chevy starting lineup tonight: Ellis Miles, Eric Brown, Marvin Stone in the middle. In the backcourt, Taekwon Dean and Reese Gaines. And of course, the Louisville Cardinals on a roll right now, and Rick Pitino's got to feel good about this 14-1 record, 5-0 in league play. And the Cardinal coach has his team in town, and they've played very well on the road. Of course, the one loss this year, Bob, really was a neutral site in Indianapolis, and that's a good sign of a good team when you can really bone up and play tough on the road.
Well, I was going to say, in the open, you pointed out how difficult it is to play in this building. Obviously, you're defined by the Indiana games and the Tennessee games and the Kentucky games and Cincinnati and Charlotte. But this place is tough to play, and these are when you know you've established yourself. There you see the Cards, 8-7. That's pretty impressive. Not easy to have a winning record here at all. So this is a game, another game that serves as a yardstick for just how strong this Cardinal team is. A very important game. Don't look past it to the Hoosiers. No question about that.
Sam Croft, Danny Hooker, and Larry Rose, the officials tonight. And Louisville's done a good job of respecting all the opponents this year and going from game to game. And Louisville controls the opening tap as Reese Gaines has it into the front court, and Southern Miss opens in a man-to-man. First half brought to you by Jewish Hospital. Excellence above all.
Good defensive team. That's their reputation.
Yep, Gaines got a good lane to go to, and I tell you, he has been so successful, Bob, in playing the point guard because, you know, he makes things happen because he does get in the lane. Here's Johnson against the press, and Marvin Stone. Well, I don't know if that'll go as a block because it was a pass, but it stopped a sure basket probably.
It was a pass. They're trying to run an alley-oop. How often do you see that? A guy blocked. Look at this. They're trying to lob it, and Marvin times it as if it's a shot. That's a brilliant defensive play. Good work by the big center.
It was indeed. Here's Stiggers being checked by his opposite, number 5, Taekwon Dean. Greg Johnson, 6'8" junior out of Phoenix City, Alabama. Louisville, of course, has been playing great man-to-man defense and pressing defense all season long, and Southern Miss commits its first turnover. And that's one thing they're not going to be able to do. They have got to take care of the ball.
It's something they don't do a good job of. They've actually made more turnovers this year than they have created. That's a problem against this Louisville team. Next possession, we'll talk a little bit about what they're going to try and do against the Cards. Move Marvin away from the basket.
Southern Miss not had a lot of success against ranked teams. Good defensive play down low, and it'll be out of bounds as Stone couldn't hang on to it, and Southern Miss will face that full court pressure. And Bob, I think we saw it once again, and you were courtside in Knoxville. Louisville just wore down the Volunteers late in that game, but there's a nice breakaway and an easy basket on the dunk by Greg Johnson.
Well, that's one good thing they're doing. They're not going to just try and survive this Louisville pressure. They're going to attack it, and Rick Pitino's already going to make a substitution. Doesn't like what he sees. That's 2 really run-out opportunities that they've already had.
And a little contact between Dante Stiggers and Reese Gaines results in the game's first foul.
The Cards are going to have to be aware that James Green is smart enough to know you don't win by going into a shell. You might keep it close, but you're not winning. You got to have points where you attack, and he has shown they're going to try and attack that Cardinal press. And Louisville's going to, I think, was taken a little bit by surprise by that.
Actually, Miles was fouled, but no free throws at all. Here's Dean. Can't get his first shot to go. Eric Brown leaves the game as we saw Francisco Garcia quickly pop up and get into the contest. Here's the Southern Miss. Miles doesn't go. Rebound inside, doesn't go. Finally, Marvin Stone pulls it out of there. Southern Miss now, they'll get on the board. That's one thing this team will do. Garcia thought about 3, tried to scoop it down low, and it was knocked out of bounds. And we have a Golden Eagle down in the backcourt. Prohibited.
David Haywood checks in
for Southern Miss to take the place, at least temporarily, of the injured Miles.
Inbounds pass comes into Gaines. He can't get it to go. Marvin Stone got the rebound. And James Green immediately comes to Sam Croft and thought maybe Stone had pushed off.
Well, Haywood gets in the box score quickly, picks up a foul.
And you mentioned the fact, Bob, really Southern Miss down to 9 players, and that won't help in a game like this at all when you need the numbers. Here's Miles taking it strong to the basket and scores over Greg Johnson.
Well, James Green's upset about that and might have a case. Ellis Krennic initiated the contact and might have gained an advantage from it, but he did do a great job of finishing once he had some room.
Against the pressure, Carter deep in the corner to Haywood, who thought about it. Here's Greg Johnson, left-hander, will launch, not get it to go. Tipped out of bounds, touched last by Eric Brown.
Ellis Miles is leaking out, and Rick is not happy about that because that's what they want Southern Miss to do, to shoot threes. They're last in the conference doing it. That ball has got to be treated almost like a turnover. You're not going to make it very often, so you got to get that rebound.
You're right. Southern Miss only 24% on the season beyond the arc. This is a two-pointer that goes. There's Charles Gaines. We made reference to the junior, the transfer from Southwest Missouri State. He has his first 2.
Team very good defensively. You can see how hard they're working. Almost forced a turnover. Ellis hustles after it.
And Miles lost it, picks it back up. Actually is almost triple team. Now he gets it back down low, works, puts it up, and they're going to get him on a travel here.
Well, one of the things that they're doing, and we saw a little bit of this against Tennessee. Tennessee didn't really double hard into the post. And that time, Southern Miss didn't even half it into the post. They just stayed home. They're going to dare the inside guys to try and beat them. Last time, Ellis scored. That time, unfortunately, created the turnover.
Here's Stiggers bringing it up against a lot of pressure. Almost threw it away, but Haywood comes to the rescue. Louisville has had 10 of the last opponents shoot under 40%. Tennessee shot 43% to break that string. And Gaines quickly up on the dribble over the Dean. And Taekwon throws it away, tried to post up down low, I think with Stone, and it went out of bounds. Well, James Green has done a good job here, Bob. He played at Ole Miss, assistant at Texas A&M, Alabama, and Iowa State, and he's really gone out and got some fine talent, and he's really shorthanded. Had 2 pretty good players quit the team. That didn't help any either.
Well, but you talk to their people, they say this is probably the 9 that earned the spot to play in here. So he's not deep, but he's got his first 9. So he's got some good young players.
Carter, good ball movement. Haywood wide open, and he hits the 3. Haywood, he is a pretty good three-point shooter, almost 40%.
That's the one guy you got to get after out on the perimeter. You're right, Donnie. He's got 13 threes and only 33 attempts coming into the game tonight.
And Rick Pitino's going to take a timeout.
Absolutely. Hang on. You'll be able to get a lovely Papa John's as soon as we get home.
Okay. So after the timeout, the Cardinals will go in the half-court offense here. High post to Stone.
Good defense. Wouldn't let Dean get the handoff.
Yep. Garcia, little 16-footer doesn't go. Good offensive board by Stone, and he has hammered his